Hi. Are you going through a divorce? This can be a pretty daunting topic to navigate, and it's something that I've really wanted to talk about and address when it comes to real estate, because let me tell you what, it takes one to know one, but there's so many things that you're dealing with, especially if you have kids, logistics, things, exes, and it's a big heavy load without the actual logistics of the money and the real estate going on too. So I think it's so important that you find someone who can navigate that for you and someone who's professional enough to remove all of the stress out of it and smooth it as much as possible. Keep you informed, not overwhelm you. So that being said, there's a few things about divorce and real estate that you want to be thinking top of mind. So the things that we're going to get into are you going to sell your house? Are you going to buy 2 new houses? Are you renting? What's going on? Now, in typical markets, it used to be that you just immediately sold the house and you both used the down payment to buy 2 new houses. Times have changed a lot. So the interesting thing, so I've been divorced for 3 years, so I have a little experience with this. The interesting thing about the change in the market and inflation and the rates rising is that now, if a woman lives in a house, say this house I've lived in for 9 years, and you have some equity in the home, so you want to sell it. However, the woman, if she wants to own the house, has to buy her husband out. So that means she has to qualify individually for a loan that she can then purchase the house from herself and her ex-husband, just as if it's a separate party. And that's all good and well, but I'm self-employed, so I'm not a W-2 employee, so I need 2-3 years of tax records to back up, even though I have an 800 credit score, which you may or may not. And don't worry, if you don't have that high of a score, it's still gonna be okay. Let me know if you want me to do another call with a mortgage person. I've talked to a few who would be willing to do a video speaking to divorce and other life changes. So that being said, you've got to qualify for the loan to buy it for yourself. And the value of your house may be close to double that it was 10 years ago. Most likely is. And the mortgage rates are doubled. So you are now looking at purchasing a home that you've been living in for 10 years and your mortgage is going to double. So a lot of people can't really make that choice. In my case, I got lucky. I have a very amicable separation, and we decided I would stay in the house until the eldest or the youngest graduated, and then I would either have to buy him out or sell it by that point. However, a lot of people aren't really graced with time. You need the money, you need to liquidate the cash. So if you're not gonna stay in the home, which was the smartest for us because the mortgage in my home is cheaper than renting a 1-bedroom apartment right now, or at least a 2-bedroom. So we found a rental for my ex. It's a 100-year-old house with 2 bedrooms. It's like $1,100 a month. It took forever to find it. It's from some old man who'd lived in it and his grandfather built it. So we got really lucky and I got to stay in the house. Now, let's say you do sell the house and you decide, well, I'm not going to buy the house out. I'm just going to sell it. And then we will split the money from the sale of the home and each put it down on our new homes. So there's a few things you need to know to make that decision. First of all, whether you're buying your own home or buying another home, it's the same thing. You still have to qualify for the mortgage for the value of the home that you're buying. So then you go look for another house and you have to qualify for that loan. So this works pretty well if you're downsizing, but as you're both gonna need homes, they're gonna accommodate the children if you have any, that can be a little bit challenging and you may have to make some accommodations, and that's okay. So your first step is going to be to find out the actual value of your home. Now, looking on Zillow and hearing what the neighbors sold it for and talking to your friend who sold a house a couple years ago is not what I'm talking about. That's not gonna you need a professional that's gonna do an actual market analysis and comps in your area, and they don't just look at comps. I know that there's this idea that you're like, oh, the houses in the area sold for this and that same square footage. You take the square footage, you take the house size, the garage, the yard, there's a lot of factors involved, and then you reduce or increase the price so that they're all evenly matched, and that's how you found the value of your home. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but trust me, you need a professional to actually find the value of your home. And then it's not just the value of your home, it's not how much you think it's worth, it's how much the market will pay for it. So you wanna find a favorable market, and it is, in my area at least, I'm in TGK, Charlotte, greater Charlotte area, it is still a little bit of a seller's market, especially in the more expensive homes, but in those first time home buyer homes, it's still a seller's market, but you have a little bit more negotiation room as a buyer, which is good if you're trying to buy another house and you're downsizing for a bigger house and you want to buy that starter home for you and your children. So that can actually work in your favor. So we want to see how much is our house worth, how much are all the expenses, closing costs, commissions, and all of those things going to take out. And there's a lot of other little nickel dime things, and then plus you're going to have to like fix it up, stage it, do some repairs, pay for inspections, all that kind of stuff. So you want to know like how much cash are you going to walk away with when it's all said and done, and what is the split? I would imagine it's going to be 50-50 with your spouse, but people make all kinds of arrangements. I have no idea. I don't know what your situation is, but you will know, and then let's work together to find out. And then we can take the amount that you're going to walk home with and see how you can qualify for a loan, get a pre-qualification, and see, depending on the type of loan that you can get, how much that down payment will pay for. You may also stick it in the bank and start renting an apartment while you wait for a better time to buy a house, or you wait to save more money. So you really do have a lot of options, and I just want to take the sting and the fear out of it, because a lot of times there's hesitation in taking action because there's so many unknown factors. So come to a professional, a real estate professional, any mortgage professional, and find out what you can do in this event. We need to remove the shame out of dealing with divorce, okay? We all have to move on with our lives and do the best to heal and make a safe home for our families and our hearts, and make sure that the nest and the environment that we live is giving us the comfort and support that we need. So let's move forward and create a better lives for ourselves. Let us help you out. I'm Brittany Olson, and I'm your realtor. All right, take care.